Yo, welcome to the show. It's Boston's Banter with Frank the Bank and Keith K. Lava. You know the answer. Talking sports, breaking down the play so raw. From the Celtics to the Sox, we giving you the score. Catch the vibe, we coming live. Filling up your feed, let the passion thrive. Every dunk, every run, we analyze the moves. Shout out to the fans, feel the rhythm and grooves. From Gillette to the Garden, we ain't missing a beat. Frank and K. Lava bring the fire, can't accept defeat.
What up? Welcome back to Boston's Banter, where the sports are wicked and the banter is Pissah. I'm your host, Frank the Bank. With me, as always, is Keith K. Lava La Cava. What's going on, Bro Tez Sweat?
Nothing much. Dominique Rogers, Bro Marty.
Bro Marty in the house. Episode 69. No dirty jokes out there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we had a great episode last week. Stat challenge. My friend Liz Koner, Lacoste, ended up getting 1 yard off.
1 yard off.
Killed it. Great guess.
Absolutely.
Meet up with you tomorrow for that. We have another good stat challenge this week. Another Prism card of Drake May rookie. This is the prismatic version. This thing's pretty sick. This week, we're going to ask for combined yards against the Titans for the tight ends. So total tight end yards, whether it's a rush, which is rare, but it happens once in a while, or passing, receiving. So receiving yards, rushing yards for both teams' tight ends. Anybody listed as a tight end, that's what we're asking for this week. So good luck, and yeah, let's jump right into the Wicked Pissah news.
Yes, sir, Frankie. And, recently we've been starting with the Red Sox news, recapping their games.
Yep.
Obviously, we're done with the season, but we have some unfortunate Red Sox news we got to bring up here.
Crazy.
So Mike Greenwell, the former Red Sox player, a two-time All-Star who spent 12 seasons with the team from 1985 to 1996, passed away this past week at 62 years old. It was announced he was battling cancer. Greenwell was inducted into the Red Sox Hall of Fame back in 2008, and rightfully so. Prayers to his family, friends.
Yeah.
The guy was definitely a good staple.
He was one of my favorite players growing up, and he played that green monster perfectly out there in the left field, and God rest your soul, man.
Rest in peace, Mike Greenwell.
Absolutely. So.
But Frankie, we got the Bruins, man.
Yeah,
they started sound that horn like we said
they started
year.
last week, like the night after we filmed. But yeah, they're playing good, man. They're playing good to start the season. So
absolutely, Frankie.
Yeah, let's
so
jump into it.
We got the Bruins update. So let's break down what they did this past week, brother. So the Bruins are currently 3-1 on the season, tied for first in the Atlantic with the Panthers. They started the season last Saturday at the Capitals, winning 3-1.
Yeah, they were underdogs in that game too. That was a good win for them. For sure.
Absolutely, a statement to start the season off, considering they were last year.
Absolutely.
Followed by a 4-3 overtime home win over the Blackhawks last Thursday.
That was a good game. I didn't like to see that we were up going into the third. We were up 3-2. They gave up the lead, but I was glad to see them win it in overtime. Obviously, the Blackhawks are up and coming, but they're still not a great team. Right. So the fact that we should be beating them either way.
Then a 3-1 win over the Sabres at home on Saturday.
That's a must, too, against the Sabres. Actually, the Sabres have lost every single game they've played this year by 2 or more goals in every game.
So there you go.
So that's what we beat them by 2, as we should. So.
And lastly, a 4-3 loss versus the Lightning at home just this past Monday.
Yeah, that was a tough loss. I mean, Lightning are a good team, too. So we were underdogs in that game, but, we have a better team
we
than
do.
I think people realize. So
3-1 to start the season, baby.
I love it. Let's go.
The Celtics season is up and coming, but we actually have some Celtics-oriented news. This guy hasn't played for the Celtics for a while, but let's break it down what happened with him this past week.
Yeah, we got it.
So former Celtic and definitely a Celtic legend within the organization, Paul Pierce, was arrested last Tuesday night on suspicion of DUI. Now, mind you, Frankie, the police found Pierce asleep while he was in the driver's seat of his Range Rover in the middle of traffic on the 101 freeway in the San Fernando Valley.
So crazy.
What's going on with these guys falling asleep on the highway? We got Jordan Addison.
Out on the highway.
What are you doing, bro? Pierce, who currently works at FS1 as a basketball analyst, posted recently on X to try and prove his innocence, and I got the picture here. He said, "Imagine being stuck in standstill traffic for 45 minutes and falling asleep. I took this picture that night because I'd never been in standstill traffic for this long. I'm old, I'm tired, and I fell asleep," with the shrug shoulder emojis. I'm good, y'all. Thanks for the love. So obviously he's out there trying to plead his innocence, but clearly the cops wouldn't arrest him if they didn't see a reason.
I hope that's all it was, but I'm sure people were beeping at him to go. You know what I mean? He didn't wake up. It's tough. 45 minutes in staying in traffic doesn't sound like a lot, especially being around Boston, being in the Boston
on
team.
The Cape traffic.
Come on, man. Yeah. That seems a little crazy.
What are you doing, Paul, man?
45 minutes ain't nothing.
On the highway.
Traffic for 3 hours before.
Seriously, bro.
So
come on, Pierce, man. You can't be falling asleep on the highway.
Hell no.
Well, Frankie, let's get into some NFL news, and we actually had a notable retirement. A guy who recently just signed with the Super Bowl champion Eagles.
Crazy.
So 3-time Pro Bowl edge rusher Za'Darius Smith retires from the NFL after 11 seasons, and like I just said, he's a month removed from joining the Eagles.
surprised, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And along with the Eagles, he played for the Ravens, Packers, Vikings, Browns, and Lions, and racked up 343 total tackles, 70.5 sacks, and 10 forced fumbles. The guy was a presence out there for a lot of teams.
He's a great player. I'm surprised he still had some years left, I thought.
Man, 2 straight losses from the Eagles. He said, this.
I know. They're playing like crap.
Right. Yes, they are, Frankie. Let's get into the notable NFL injuries. And I had one on my fantasy team this past week.
Ones.
Not good, man.
Yep.
So neither of these guys played in the Colts versus Cardinals game, but this is interesting how they got hurt. Colts backup quarterback Anthony Richardson fractured his orbital bone when he had an issue with a rubber leg band. And can that guy catch any breaks, dude?
No, hell no.
Like, how do you do that?
That just, I don't know if you watched the challenge on MTV, but that kind of happened on there. It was a slingshot thing they did, and the thing came back and hit the girl right in the face, broke her nose.
And he spent the day in the hospital, but he's the backup, so obviously they got Danny J out there. But what are you doing, Anthony Richardson?
That's crazy.
That's crazy. And then Colts starting cornerback Charvarius Ward suffered a concussion in pregame workouts when he collided with tight end Drew Ogletree and missed the game.
Too.
Right.
He was like unconscious on the ground. He
Dude,
got laid out.
That's what I'm saying.
They didn't have helmets on or nothing. He was just warming up. That video was wild.
What are they doing, bro?
That was
there?
like they just collided. It was like, I was just unreal.
Hey, it's pregame. You guys got to chill out a little bit.
That was crazy.
Then you got Cardinals wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., who also suffered a concussion in that same game versus the Colts and was ruled out. His status is to be determined. Rams wide receiver and league-leading receiver Puka Nacua suffered an ankle injury in the second quarter of the win versus the Ravens. And even though he did return, Frankie, head coach Sean McVay said he's unsure if he'll play this Sunday in London versus the Jags.
Yeah, I don't think they should have brought him back in that game, honestly.
In the 49ers, they can't catch a break, bro.
This is crazy, too.
49ers all-pro linebacker Fred Warner suffered a dislocated ankle in the first quarter of Sunday's game versus the Bucs and is out for the season.
Surgery, too. Yeah, that's similar to what happened to Godwin last year. So.
Yep. So he's done, bro. Okay. And speaking of Godwin and the Bucs wide receiver Emeka Egbuka suffered a hamstring injury in the win versus the 49ers Sunday and left the game. His status is also to be determined. They said he might miss a game or two.
Yeah, absolutely gonna.
And then you got Titans wide receiver Calvin Ridley also suffered a hamstring injury Sunday in the loss to the Raiders, and he was also ruled out. Another guy who might miss a game or two.
Yeah, he's
What is going on with all these hamstring injuries,
a lot of
bro?
Hamstrings right now.
And then my fantasy receiver in both my teams, Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson suffered a hyperextended knee Sunday versus the Broncos, and they said he is expected to miss a few weeks.
It's gonna be out a few weeks at
least. Hey,
least.
if you're in me and Frankie's fantasy league, I got to make a trade for a receiver. Let me see some deals, boys.
Let's see some deals. Putting it out there.
Yes, sir. We had a notable trade this past week I want to bring up, too. Kind of a swapping of cornerbacks. Didn't really make the most sense because, I feel like it was an even trade, but, let's break it down. The Jags acquired cornerback Greg Newsome in a 6th-round pick from the Browns, and then in return, the Browns acquired cornerback Tyson Campbell in a 7th-round pick from the Jags.
Hey, I guess they like their styles of play different. I don't know.
Even players, though. I wouldn't say one was pretty much better than the other.
Very close.
So that's what I'm saying. A very weird trade.
Yep.
And then we had one notable cut I want to bring up here. And, dude, it's so surprising because this is a good player.
I don't know what's going on.
He's getting shipped around, bro.
This is like the whole, I don't know. Like, it's just kind of crazy. It kind of reminds you of like, what's his name? The receiver that kept getting cut all the time. I can't think of his name. Pittsburgh Steeler. Oh, Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson. Like, all of a sudden, this guy just doesn't want to, like, nobody wants him on the team anymore.
And this guy just signed with the Ravens last week.
That's what I mean.
The Ravens released safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson after signing him. Like I just said last week, his agent said it was a mutual decision, and the one-time Super Bowl champ and 2022 interception leader is again a free agent looking for a new team. We need safety help. Bring him to New England.
I would love to see him in New England.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's all we got for the Wicked Pissah News, Frankie.
Love it. Another great Wicked Pissah News. Why don't we get into a Foxboro Focus?
Frankie's looking real good for the Patriots, brother. Number one in the AFC East. Falling. The Bills lost last night to the Falcons.
That was crazy.
Well, Frankie, let's break down what they did this past week. So the Patriots beat up on the Saints 25-19, bringing their record to 4-2. And let's show the highlights real quick.
Week 6, Patriots at Saints. Saints got the ball first in the very first play. Spencer Rattler's looking downfield for wide receiver Chris Olave for a big 53-yard gain to start the game off. Saints would then have to settle for a 34-yard field goal by kicker Blake Grupe to make the score 3-0. Next Patriots drive, and literally 4 plays in, Drake May is going to be looking downfield for wide receiver Pop Douglas, who makes the catch, and he's juking out a guy, and he's going in for a 53-yard touchdown to make the score 7-3. Saints' next possession is settling for another field goal, this time a 48-yarder by kicker Blake Grupe to make the score 7-6. Then the next Patriots drive, after having a big touchdown call back by Pop Douglas, Drake May is going to be looking into the end zone for wide receiver Kayshon Boutte for a nice 25-yard touchdown to bring the score to 14-6. Start of the second quarter and next Saints possession, Taysom Hill's going to take the snap, and he's going to run it in for a 1-yard touchdown. Back and forth between these two teams to start. After a Patriots turnover on downs, the Saints are settling for a 38-yard field goal by kicker Blake Grupe to take the lead with roughly 2 minutes left in the half. 38 seconds left in the half, and the Patriots are trying to score as they got the ball at halftime. And Drake May is going to be looking downfield again for wide receiver Kayshon Boutte, who makes a nice 29-yard touchdown catch. The Patriots would go for 2 to go up by 6. And as you can see here, he makes the nice catch, takes the hit and everything. They tried to say he was down before, but as you can see, his knee's down and the ball is across the white. Let's go, baby. Start of the second half, Patriots have the ball, and Drake May's going to be doing the play action, feeling the pressure. He's going to be running up the right side, and he's going to be taking it for a nice 20-yard gain to the 2-yard line. Looks like he was going to run out of the stadium like Forrest Gump. But after getting stuffed in a few penalties, the Patriots are settling for a 24-yard field goal by kicker Andres Borregales to go up 25-16. Start of the fourth quarter, after a few punts, the Saints are settling for a 54-yard field goal by Blake Grupe to make the score 25-19. After a Patriots punt, the Saints would get the ball back down 6, and Spencer Rattler's looking for tight end Juwan Johnson, and he coughs the ball up. The Patriots jump on it, and there was a challenge on it. It looks like he was down by contact, but as you see there, the ball pops out, but then take another look. He loses the ball as he's going to the ground, and then one of the Patriots would jump on it to make it their possession. Patriots didn't capitalize off that turnover and got the ball back with roughly 2.5 minutes left. Need a big first down on 3rd and 11, and Drake May finds wide receiver Kayshon Boutte for a big 21-yard catch on 3rd and 11. That's going to go on to ice the game. The Patriots get in victory formation and would go on to win the game 25-19 to bring their record to 4-2.
So, Frankie, it was a closer game than we expected, obviously, but I'm not going to lie. The officiating in that game was one of the worst I ever seen.
Dude.
Just all over the place. The clock mismanagement.
That one pass interference call,
push off.
It was unbelievable. We were celebrating for like 10 minutes, it felt like. And then
Seriously.
there's a flag. It's like, what do you mean there's a flag?
Dude, literally,
it's like
bro.
30 seconds have gone by.
And then when they showed it on, they said it was on Diggs. They showed Diggs, and he did nothing.
Nothing. It was like, that was one of the worst calls ever.
That's
Even
what
the
I'm
other
saying.
one they called on Diggs later in the game on the 52-yard catch.
Oh, the big catch.
I mean, it was like, he didn't even really extend his arm. He kind of just was like, they were both putting their arms on each other.
Right.
And even Gene Steratua, the guy in the booth that used to be an officiation ref, he was just like, I wouldn't have called that. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, those guys definitely. There was somebody had some bets on the Saints.
I don't like that. Or
No.
they just didn't want Diggs doing good or something. I
Right,
don't know.
right. So, yeah, that was a really bad officiating game, but we got the dub. But, Frankie, I'm going to bring up what I noticed from the offense this past week. So, the offensive line held up, only 1 sack allowed for only a 1-yard loss. Love to see that. And Drake May, Frankie, he is that guy. We have our franchise quarterback. He went 11 for 13, 185 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the first half with a perfect 158.3 passer rating.
He's killing it, dude.
Dude,
He's killing it.
absolutely, bro. He finished 18 for 26 for 261 yards and still only 3 touchdowns, but the dude is killing it,
They
bro.
didn't need to throw as much, but I mean, he was killing it, dude.
At the end of the game, we needed some clutch 3rd down conversions, man. And yeah, you want to give credit to the receivers, but he was putting it on the money.
He's nasty.
That's what I'm saying, dude. And speaking of that, we could have had more points if not for the phantom push-off like we were talking about. It took away Pop Douglas' second touchdown.
Yep.
And Frankie, speaking of Pop Douglas, with Diggs being held in check, 3 catches for only 28 yards, we needed the other wide receivers to step up, which we really haven't seen since week 1. And they did. Kayshon Boutte and Pop Douglas went off. Boutte had 5 catches for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns and some clutch 3rd down catches like I was just talking about. And Pop Douglas, he had 3 catches for 71 yards, 1 touchdown. He had one
call back.
One called back on a bullshit call.
That was crazy.
And lastly, 0 turnovers. That's what we love.
You can't fumble the ball away.
No turnovers, bro. I mean, even in that Bills win, Ramondre had that one fumble in the beginning of the game. So 0 turnovers. Let's keep it going that way.
Absolutely, bro.
And this is what I noticed from the defense, Frankie. And like I said last week, the Saints, they have a weak 3rd down offense, and we held them to 3 for 9 on 3rd down conversions. We had 2 sacks and a forced turnover, not, the flashiest of numbers, but it contributed to the W. One thing that's been a constant worry for us is our 26th ranked pass defense. Rattler looked efficient out there for 20 for 26, 227 yards.
Yeah, I didn't like that because Rattler's not a great quarterback.
That's what I'm saying.
I wasn't a fan of how good he actually looked better than I thought, and he's not that good.
And he was connecting a lot with Olave, who had 98 yards out there on 6 catches, 10 targets. So the secondary needs some help, and can please, Carlton Davis, can you stop getting hurt, bro? Like, he goes back on the field, but every game I've seen him get hurt, have to go off the field. They got to put in Charles Woods, who they put in. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? You know what I'm saying, dude?
Stay healthy.
But Frankie, this is the 6th straight game we haven't allowed a 50-yard rusher. We're the only team in the league to do so, and that makes sense with us having the number 4 rush defense.
Yeah.
So pass defense needs some help, but the rush D, man, is looking stout.
Oh yeah, the D's been great on the defense. I mean, on the rush defense, but unbelievable. We said that in the first couple of weeks.
That's
too.
what I'm
It was crazy.
saying, bro. And bringing in guys like Milton Williams will definitely help that out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But Frankie, upcoming week 7 at the Titans, Vrabel's former team, the team that fired him. And speaking of actually coaches getting fired, they just fired their 4-19 overall record, Brian Callahan. He's gone.
He's gone. They fired their GM. They're firing everybody left and right.
They're clearing house over there.
Yeah.
So, let's break it down real quick what I saw from the Titans last week. So the Titans lost to the Raiders in week 6, 20-10, bringing them to 1-5 on the year. And actually, like Cam Ward said,
I mean, if we keeping a buck right now,
yeah, Frankie,
They're definitely.
The Titans were 3 for 13 on 3rd down. Get our stops. If we get our stops, man, build that lead up. They have the 30th ranked run defense. Can we get our 27th ranked run offense going against them?
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
That's what I'm saying. We got
Travion. We keep saying Travion.
And we got Ramondre's out there getting 13 carries for 18 yards.
Nah, he can't be carrying the ball like that and fumbling it. And it's whatever. He should be the short yardage back. Let Travion do the rest.
And then Cam Ward, Frankie, has had at least a fumble lost or an interception in every game this year. We got to keep that streak going.
I'd like to see multiple turnovers this week.
And the Titans have allowed the 4th most sacks. They allowed 6 versus the Raiders, so hopefully the Patriots send a lot of pressure.
I mean, we gotta beat them. We gotta beat them even more. I mean, we beat the Saints by 6. It felt like more. It felt like double digits. It should be double digits.
It should have been.
And the Titans definitely should be double digits. I mean,
So
we want to be a contender. We're the AFC East right now, number 1 seed.
Keep it rolling.
We need to put it on people. We can't play down to nobody. We played up to the Bills, and we showed them who was up.
That's
what was up. We can't come down and play
bro.
down to people. We lost to Vegas, being up at halftime.
Lost to the Steelers, 5
turnovers. We're playing down to the bad teams and playing up to the good teams. No, you got to be on point all the time.
So that's what I'm saying, man. We're in Tennessee, but Frankie, with the prediction this week, obviously I'm taking the Patriots
all day. Better be double digits.
Yes, sir. Vrabel's going to want to get some revenge against the team that fired him, brother.
I love it.
Let's get it popping, bro.
Good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Another great Foxboro Focus. We love Foxboro Focus when we're winning, especially.
Yes, sir.
Let's jump into the wicked Smaht Fantasy Stahts. How'd you do in your league last week, Keith?
Yeah, man, I don't want to talk about it, bro.
Here he goes.
Yeah, man, the losses are back, bro. I was just on a good 2-week streak there, winning both the leagues, but we back in the L column, unfortunately.
No.
So let's break it down what I did in my league this past week. So this week, I lost 120.60 to 116.74 to Rhett, bringing my record to 3-3. Not the worst, man. I'm still 500.
Yep.
Well, let's break it down with my studs and duds. I didn't have that many, but wide receiver A.J. Brown, I'm going to bring up because he got me 14 points. He hasn't been looking the best. Ashton Janty got me 16.6.
Yes,
Tight
sir.
end Sam Laporta, 2 straight weeks, actually starting to look good. He got me 16.5. And then Jaden Daniels last night, man. Could have got me the dub if he didn't fumble, but he got me 28.64.
He played good. He got a lot of points.
That's
last
what I'm
night.
saying, bro.
That's a fact.
And then I actually had a bunch of duds. So wide receiver Garrett Wilson, 4.3.
Well,
3
got
catches
hurt.
for
That's gonna
13
happen.
yards, bro. But he got hurt at the end of the game.
Nah, that's true.
3
You're
catches
right.
for 13
You
yards.
ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
Running back Ramondre Stevenson, like I said in Foxboro Focus, 13 rushes for 18 yards, a whopping 1.8. So Kaimi Fairbairn was on a bye week. I had to start Joshua Carty from the Rams. He only got me 4.6. He missed a 26-yard field goal. I mean, what the hell is
How
that?
did you even miss that?
Packers defense, 6.5. Only 1 sack versus a Joe Flacco-led Bengals.
I honestly thought they were going to get like 30, 40 points.
Come
They were gonna
on,
go
bro.
crazy.
They got 18 points on them.
That's nuts.
Roma Dunze, who's been killing it for me, he only got 5.2, only had 2 catches for 32 yards. I'm like, come on, bro. You've been so consistent for me his first
It's
bad
crazy,
game.
too, because Caleb Williams had over 250 yards.
Yeah,
but I'm
nothing
surprised
to
that
a Dunze.
Dunze, it wasn't a target anymore.
And then wide receiver Khalil Shakir for the Bills, and he only got me
They look like
6.3.
straight dookie last
Yes,
night,
they do,
honestly.
man. But yeah, so unfortunate, Frankie. How'd you do in my league?
I won. I beat your dad. Sorry, Dave. We were in a battle for a minute. And
Yeah, you guys were.
I gotta give Dave credit though. He picked up Booty off the waivers. Started him against me because he had injuries. Guy gets like 30 points or something
Right.
crazy. I'm like, I thought I was gonna lose, but my team woke up. So I won 162.36 to 127.24. Jamar Chase finally did something. Again, 25.1 points. I thought that was good. I had Trey McBride went off 21 points. I thought that was great. DeAndre Swift last night, over 150 all-purpose shots, went crazy. 27.5 points rather. I started Denver's defense again against the Jets, who are terrible. So they got up 17 points. I grabbed a couple of guys off waivers that were double digits too. That Tez Johnson had the 1 catch, 45 and a touchdown. He had 13.5. So a couple duds. Steph Diggs didn't have a good game. Again, that call got called back, which was tough. 52-yard catch, 5.8, and then Breece Hall again against Denver, 5.9 points. Those were probably my two biggest studs. So,
But Frankie, let's move over to your league,
buddy.
brother. In another loss, like I was just talking about, and I didn't even crack 100 points, man. I think it's the first time in a long time I didn't even crack 100 points, and I've been putting up 160 plus.
To not crack 100 points when you have 3 flexes and 3 wideouts is like unheard of. I think that could be the lowest score I've seen in a long time.
It's very sad, bro. But like I said, man, I lost.
You can do what happens. It happens.
Exactly. So I lost 134.94, and I had 99.42, bringing my record to 2-4. Lost to Armani. Jesus. If I was having a regular week, I would have smoked him. I was putting up 160 plus every single week, bro. But let me bring it up. I only had 2 studs. So I had quarterback Jalen Hurts, who got me 20.62 in their loss. 1 pass touchdown, 1 rush touchdown. And then running back Jonathan Taylor, 24.7. He's been my most consistent player. I think he's the #1 fantasy player right now.
Him and Puka were right up there, 1-2.
And I got a list of duds. Wide receiver Garrett Wilson, I got in both leagues, 4.3. Wide receiver Troy Franklin, I had a lot of bye weeks and everything, so he had 3.1, only 21 total yards. Wide receiver Isaiah Bond, who was one of my sleepers. I thought he was actually going to look good against the Steelers pass defense. He only got me 2.9. 2 catches for 9 yards. Tight end Mark Andrews I had to start because Brock Bowers was hurt against 6.6. Kicker Cam Little, like I said, Kaimi Fairbairn's on a bye. I'm like, hey, this dude kicked a 70-yarder in the preseason. He got me -1. Dude,
that's tough right there.
He missed a PAT and a field goal.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there.
Running back Tony Pollard. When are they going to get this guy going? Hopefully not this week against the Patriots. Absolutely not with our run defense. Only 6.7. And then tight end Kyle Pitts, man. Like I said, I had a lot of bye weeks and injuries. I had to start him. 4.8. But I will say, crazy. I'm 1 spot out of the playoffs. I'm in the 7th spot right now.
Yeah, I'm saying me and you are right there points. I mean, I have the most points in your league, and I'm in 1st in your league. And in my league, I'm in like 7th or 8th, right with you. Right.
I got 4th most points in your league.
Yeah, you've been putting up points. I'm in 9th. So yeah, me and you are 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's like 5 of us with the same record. So I lost to Justin again. It was one of those things where I put up 165 points, just like last week. I always put up 160 points, it seems like, and I lose every time.
Rico Dowdle.
Oh, it's tough. So some of my duds, some of my studs, whatever. But let's talk about DeAndre Swift again. I have him in both leads, 28.5 points in my league. Kamani Vidal, I started.
Good start.
Yeah, it was a great start. He had almost 24 points. And then Denver's defense, 17 points. Duds, I had some duds, obviously. I have Diggs in both leagues, 5.8. I have Shakir in this league, 6.3. So both my wideouts are terrible. Saquon Barkley's been pissing me off. And you know, honestly, it's not a lot of his fault when he's only getting 6 to 10 rushes a game. This guy should be touching the ball 20 times
when they're on the goal line. Don't do 4 straight tush pushes, dude.
Well, and it's just like they're losing games, right? Because they're trying to appease wide receivers that are mad that they're not getting enough looks.
You're right.
Like when they won last year, this guy touched the ball 20, 25 times a game, right?
Over 2,000
They were
yards.
unstoppable. When your best player is not touching the ball enough and you're losing games. I wonder what's the problem? Why are you losing? Giving the guy last week had 6 rushes. This week he had 12.
He had the most carries last year in the league, too.
I'm saying he only had 12 rushes. Like how? Like, how does Kamani Vidal have 18 rushes, 50% more rushes?
That's what I'm saying.
And he was supposed to be splitting with Hassan Haskins. Like, how does that happen when you have Saquon Barkley?
Got a good point there, brother.
It's like, you know, what are you doing over there? And you deserve to lose. But yeah, he unfortunately he's been pretty bad for me as my 1st round pick. He only had 8.7 points and. You know, a couple other duds, but Chase Brown been terrible since Burrow went down 8.9. So, you know, that's kind of where we're at. It's just been rough in my league. I can't buy a bucket. You know what I mean?
I hear you, brother. But hey, let's get into week 7, and I got my weekly sleepers, bro. So let's break it down real quick. So for number 1, I'm actually gonna go with a tight end. I'm gonna go with Jets tight end Mason Taylor versus the Panthers, bro.
I can see that.
So I know Taylor's stats, they don't look the best for a tight end one. You know, only 21 catches for 177 yards, 0 touchdowns in 6 weeks, only 1 reception for 2 yards last week versus the Broncos. Granted, that was versus the Broncos defense that had crazy. 9 sacks and got to fields almost like every
20
play.
Something pressures, like it was insane.
Bro, he had no time at all. So you can't really blame Taylor there, only having 1 catch for 2 yards. He was out there just running the whole time.
It was crazy.
So this week versus Carolina, he has potential for Taylor to produce some good numbers. The Panthers have the 21st ranked red zone defense, an area of the field Taylor excelled at LSU. But not only that, Frankie, the Panthers have allowed the most yards to opposing tight ends, tied for 4th most in tight end yards, and tied for 3rd most tight end touchdowns. So if the Jets O-line can hold up for Fields, Taylor could have a breakout
I could see
game.
that for being a shootout, and Garrett Wilson's not going to play, as we already talked about. So, I mean, there's a lot of targets up for grabs.
That's what I'm saying. Look for him in the red zone, too,
love
if
it.
they get there.
Nah, that's a great pick.
Number 2, I got Bucks wide receiver Sterling Shepard at the line. So the Bucks are really banged up, especially at wide receiver. You know, Mecca Buka is expected to miss some time, like we were talking about. You still got Evans, who may come back, but he's banged up.
He's not coming back this week either, I don't think. And Godwin's already listed as doubtful.
That's
so he's
what I'm saying, bro. So the veteran's probably going to be getting some looks along with the Johnson brothers, I call them, Tez Johnson and Cameron Johnson.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So like I was just talking about, even though Cameron and Tez Johnson got the potential after both of their big performances, this past week, Shepard is the veteran of the group who had 51 yards on only 2 catches last week. So the big playability is there. Mind you, the Lions defense has allowed the 3rd most yards to wide receivers, and barring certain bye weeks and injuries that you guys may be dealing with, Shepard could be a good flex for certain situations this week.
It's going to be one of those things where they're probably going to be playing from behind, or it's going to be some sort of shootout. So at the end of the day, yeah, I agree.
And then number 3, I got Steelers running back Kenneth Gainwell at the Bengals.
Okay.
So Kenny G has been involved a lot in the Steelers' new offense. He has 176 rush yards, 3 touchdowns, and an additional 19 receptions for 79 yards on the year so far. So the volume is there. He only has 13 less carries than Jalen Warren. Mind you, the Steelers are going against a Bengals run defense that ranks 24th in the league and has they've allowed the 2nd most rush yards in the league, tied 3rd most rushing touchdowns in the league, and since he's been getting work as a pass catcher, at least 6 receptions the last 2 weeks, the Bengals have allowed the most receiving touchdowns to running backs this year.
Wow.
So Gainwell should have a good week.
I like that. Yeah, absolutely.
But Frankie, let's get into your FanDuel picks,
Yeah,
brother.
let me bring these up real quick. I mean, I know I got Bo Nix. I mean, he's been like so-so. He hasn't been the greatest, but he's been putting up some points. But I think this week he's going to get off it here. And, you know, they haven't been like clicking on all cylinders. I feel like he'll get back at it. The Giants, they're playing the Giants, and they're at home. It's just one of those things I think he might go off. I actually stacked him with Evan Ingram, who's looked better in the last couple weeks too.
Absolutely.
He's had some decent targets. So I stacked those two together. 7,100 for Bo Nix, not bad for where he was projected to be. I mean, he was one of those guys that was supposed to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback. So, I mean, 7,100 is kind of a discount for a quarterback. So I think if he can get it, start running a little bit more, I think that'd be great.
Right.
Ingram's only 5,000. I thought that was a real good discount for a tight end. I always look for discounted tight ends like we talked about.
Athletic tight end.
DeAndre Swift, again, going against the Saints. Saints have been pretty bad. He just went off last night, 170 all-purpose yards, something crazy like that. Yep. So had a touchdown on that long reception as well. So I think that's a good money at 6,300. I also took Chris Olave in that same game. We know that the Bears secondary typically isn't that good and hasn't been that good this year, and the Saints will be playing from behind. Olave is getting like 9, 10, 12 targets a game.
10 targets last game, 98 yards.
So it's like I feel like they're going to need to throw, and it could be one of those games that's a little bit more of a shooter than people think.
Right.
So, yeah, those are the guys I kind of see discounted, and here's the rest of my team here.
Like you said, with Bo Nix going against the Giants, I don't see the Giants winning back-to-back, especially against the Broncos
even if they
defense.
if they put up points, that means Nick's got to throw.
Right, man. He could be running. He could be slinging it out there, so I like that right there.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift getting the all-purpose yards, especially against the Saints defense.
Yeah, he went over 100
Barkley,
last night.
can we get Barkley going again against
I'm putting
Minnesota?
him in until he has one of those games, and I think this is the week that they realize
they have to.
What's the problem? The problem is you're not giving Barkley the ball enough.
Absolutely, bro. Then you got wide receiver Xavier Worthy going against the Raiders secondary. He's a speed demon. He's out there. And they got Rashee Rice back, so that could open things up for him.
I like it.
You got wide receiver Ladd McConkey going against the Colts defense. I know the Colts, they've been looking good.
But that's going to be a shootout, I think.
Especially if Travarius Ward doesn't play with the concussion again right there. There's some targets for McConkey.
Unconscious.
Chris Olave, who went off last week against the Patriots, even though they did lose, he's getting the looks right there from Rattler.
Yes,
then you got tight end Evan Ingram. He's an athletic tight end that Bo Nix likes to throw to, especially dump it down when he's getting blitzed and all that.
Yep.
Then you got Josh Jacobs in the flex. I like that right there. He's been a workhorse for them.
Yeah, he's got a good matchup. So, I mean, he scored 2 touchdowns this past week. So, he's going to be nasty.
And then the Saints defense.
I just threw in the cheapest defense. Again, it's one of those defenses that, they've been holding on. They've been closer in some of these games. The Bills barely beat them. We only beat them by 6. But, again, you need to do a cheap defense, and that's what I do. So,
hey, Frankie, I like it, brother.
Thanks, brother.
Good luck this week, man.
You too, bro. Let's jump into a lava round. Keith jumped me last week. He got me by 2 games. Another last-second field goal saved you again. Carolina got me this time again. That was a good pick. Like I said, I figured that'd be a close game. But, man, there's some crazy games that you're winning by. But, yeah, you're up 1 now on me. So, that's cool.
So, let's break it down real quick. The NFL weekly picks from week 6. So, yeah, Frankie, last week you went 9-6, bringing bringing your record to 59, 33, and 1. And like I was talking about with the two differences, I took the Panthers and the Seahawks, and they won for me. You know, I jumped you only by 1 total, though. So last week I went 11 and 4 overall, bringing my overall record to 60, 32, and 1. So 1 game ahead of you. Got to keep it rolling, brother. We'll see what happens with these picks this week. But Frankie, let's get into the NFL Week 7 picks. You name them, we'll predict them. Let's get it popping.
We got the Steelers at Bengals for Thursday night. Who you got?
You know I'm taking the Steelers.
Me too. Don't even stop.
You got 40-year-old Joe Flacco out there.
Yeah, right. All right, so we have another 9:30 game, another international game. It's in England at Wembley Stadium. We got the Rams versus the Jags. Technically, the Jags at home, but it is international. Who you got there?
Yeah, so the Jags, you know, it's kind of familiar territory for them. They're very used to playing overseas, which they've been doing the last few years and everything. But Frankie, honestly, even with the Rams being a little banged up, I am going to be taking the Rams. I like their defense more than the Jags, and I just think that, you know, they're a little more high-powered than the Jags. So I'm going to be taking the Rams.
I got to take the Rams, too, honestly. The Jags, you know, they're not going to beat the Rams. Even if Puka doesn't play, I still feel like the Rams should beat them.
That's what I'm saying.
Eagles at Vikings. That's an interesting game there. That's a real interesting game. What you got going on?
Yeah, so Carson Wentz going against his former team. He's going to get his kicked, so I'm taking the Eagles.
I'm taking the Eagles, too. I thought you might go Vikings. Vikings defense been good. They're coming off a bye, too, so I don't know.
Eagles ain't losing 3 straight.
I agree. Eagles might going to right the ship this week. We'll see, though.
Yes, sir.
Pats at Titans. We already talked about that, Pats. Panthers at Jets. I'm taking Panthers this week.
Yeah, I'm taking the Panthers, bro.
I got Miami at Browns. What do you got there? That's kind of a toilet bowl kind of a game.
It is, Frankie, and honestly, man, I don't like the way Dylan Gabriel's been looking, so I'm going to be taking the Dolphins here, getting their 2nd win of the season.
Yeah, I like the Dolphins, too. I mean, the Browns' defense been pretty good, though, so, I mean, I don't know. That game I had a question mark on because, again, it's at Cleveland, so I don't know. That's going to be a tight game, but I'm going to go Miami on that one, too. So.
Yes, sir.
Saints at Bears. I'm going the Bears.
Yeah, I'm going da Bears.
Da Bears. Raiders at Chiefs. I'm going Chiefs. I'm sure you're going Chiefs.
I'm going Chiefs, Frankie, but I'm not going to lie, man. It was one of those things that I wanted to put the Raiders down.
You always pick the Raiders once a year against the Chiefs to beat them, and they do usually beat them once a year.
But the Raiders, remember last year, they almost beat the Chiefs, and it wasn't for that stupid snap by Aiden O'Connell that went over his head, man. They just had to run the clock out and everything. Gave the Chiefs the ball back. But yeah, I'm going to be taking the Chiefs here.
Here's probably one of a real interesting game to me. Colts at Chargers.
Yeah, man, I'm going to be taking the Colts here. Their running game is way more superior than the Chargers, considering the Chargers have 2 of their main running backs. So I'm going to be taking the Colts here.
I like this. I like the Chargers, and I want to take the Chargers at home, but they've been so bad. I mean, they have not played good ball since those first 3 weeks. They look great.
That's what I'm saying. They looked really good.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me.
The Herbert effect is in effect.
Crazy. Yeah, I'm going to go Colts, too. That's a tough game for me, though. Giants at Denver. I'm going Denver. Denver's D's too stout for me.
You know I'm going Broncos, man. Jackson Dart's going to be seeing ghosts out there. He's going to be like Sam Darnold.
Hell yeah, dog. Green Bay at the Cardinals. I'm going Green Bay by 100.
Jacoby Brissett starting for them? Yeah, I'm going to be taking the Packers, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Washington at Dallas. That's an interesting one, too.
So the Commanders, yeah, man, they could have won last night. And, obviously they lost and everything.
At the end there.
The Cowboys, man, they're always seem to be right in games, and I think that being at home, they're going to get this win against a division rival. I'm taking the Cowboys.
I got to go Commanders here, so that's going to be our only difference, even though I think this is going to be a shootout, and I don't think CeeDee Lamb's going to be back yet, so I'm going to go Washington on this one just to,
all right.
They looked like the team to beat last year, so now that Daniels is back, a couple games in, we'll see what happens from his injury. Falcons at 49ers. Again, Falcons are 2 teams. One, they're so nasty, then they go and lose by 30 to Carolina Panthers. So it's like
and then they beat the Bills.
What are they going to do? The 49ers literally are picking up people off the street and beating people. So it's like, I don't know. I'm taking the 49ers just because it's in San Fran, but I could see the Falcons winning.
I'm taking the Falcons.
You are? All right, cool. Good. We got 2 differences. Bucks at Lions, the banged up Bucks. They're also picking up people off the street. But I got to go Lions on this one just because they're too banged up, even though I love Baker Mayfield and he never gives up. But I got to go Lions
I'm going to be going the Lions here, man. They're a little more high-powered right now than the Bucks. So, yeah, definitely going Lions.
Texans at Seahawks. Who you got there? This is an interesting game to me, too.
I feel like this might be a different one, Frankie, but honestly, bro, I'm going Texans.
I'm going Texans, too.
That's what's funny. I didn't think you were going to. Okay.
They're coming off a bye. Yep. Their defenses look great the last few weeks.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
So I just feel like that's going to just make Sam Darnold's life miserable this week. So
I agree.
I literally had a question mark on that, but I was like, you know what? I feel like the Texans defense is going to be there. So we got 2 differences this week. Good luck to you, sir.
Absolutely, Frankie.
Another great show. Another great lava round. Good luck to you this week. We had 2 differences. And it's like good luck to everybody in fantasy this week, too.
Have you heard of the grabber?
Oh, Frankie. Here we go again, bro.
Here we go again. Why's my phone ringing like that? I've never heard it ring like this before.
I don't like this, bro.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. That's creepy.
Check that out, bro.
Hello?
Hello, Finney.
Who the is Finney? We're Frank and Keith. We're doing a show. What's up with
Frank,
that?
dude, what the hell is going on this week, dude?
You know what it is. Black Phone 2 was great. Black Phone 1 was great. Ethan Hawke killed it. That's such a good one. I can't wait to see this. This is gonna be
absolutely.
awesome.
Frank, what's going on with the camera and the? Why do we look like this, dude? This is kind of creepy,
weird.
bro.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Kind of reminds me of like in the Black Phone.
Yeah,
and everything.
it looks exactly like it. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Frank. I don't.
Time to find out.
Frank, I didn't like that, bro. Come on, let's get up on out of here, bro.
From Bean Town to your town, stay wicked Pissah.
From the TD Garden to your garden. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Who the hell are you?
How the tables do turn.